Hello everybody. Before we start anything about this video, I would like to um bring awareness to this Jaden Adams situation. The South African player, the midfielder who was just in the World Cup, has sadly passed away on July 11th at 6 in the morning. For me, it is um, July 12th at 10 p.m. So it's been about 2 days. Um, there's no official cause of death, um, but there has been speculations. And one thing I would like to say is no matter what you're going through, someone is always there for you. And even if you feel alone, you're not alone. There's always somebody there, your mom, your siblings, your friends. If you need to reach out to the hotline, if you need any help. I've struggled with mental health myself. So if you ever feel alone, you're never alone, bro. There's always someone there for you. Um, I would like to have just a little moment of silence for Jaden Adams. Thank you. Um, all right, so we're back with our second video. We changed the name to It's Called Soccer. I'm Nathan, and hopefully this channel could grow at some point. But today we are covering stock up and stock downs of USA players from the World Cup. Some players I might mention may not be in the roster because there is some stock ups for some players that weren't in the roster. So let's get into it. I don't have anything fancy here, so I'm just gonna go off the foot mob rating. I'm gonna start with the starting 11. I'm gonna go into some of the backups who played, and then just some other people that I have in mind. I'm gonna give my top 5 stock ups, my top 5 stock downs, and then people who my top 5 who just stayed the same, and then maybe some honorable mentions in or throughout. The first stock up I would like to mention is Balogun. Me personally, I feel that he's always been the starter for this team, but he certified it this World Cup to me. Anyone that had doubts, anybody was like, "Hey, Pepe should start," or anyone else, Aguiman, whatever you think, like Balogun solidified himself as the starter, the starting 9 for this country, probably for a while. He'll be the starting 9 at the next World Cup. I think so, especially if he gets that big move that he is seeking. Well, not really that he's seeking, but clubs want him. I'm not going to say what clubs because I don't know if it's confirmed or not. But I know there is rumors about him getting a move this summer from AS Monaco. The second stock up I would like to say would be Malik Tillman. He had a great summer for the United States. He came in, I would say, I wasn't too sure about him. I wasn't too sure about like his abilities or what he could or couldn't do. If he could start for the national team, you know what I mean? Because personally, I feel McKennie and Adams were always there, and they've always been starters for a while. But Tillman's always struggled with the national team, so it was a big question mark. But this tournament, he solidified himself. Not just scoring, and he has an assist. Not just that, the way he played, some of the passes he made, the confidence he had on the ball, all of that. Like his stock went up. I would say just as much or even more than Balogun's, in my opinion. The third stock up, I would say, is Freeman. He had a breakout tournament to me. Not like breakout and like, oh, he did like broke records or anything, but to me, he showed that he can and will start for or can and will fight for a starting spot on this team in the future to come. And he's very young. I think he's 21. Hold on, I'm gonna check it because I'm not too sure. He is 21. He's about to be 22 in August. But yeah, he had a great performance. That goal he had was important. And then just the way he would defend and attack up and down the field, I think showed a lot of potential to maybe take Destino's spot by the next World Cup, or the USA plays him as a center back. I don't know. Uh, I would I would personally be fine with any of those. Um, I would say that my fourth stock up. This really isn't based off performance, even though he played well, in my opinion. This is just based off of everyone below him. Chris Richards, he has solidified himself as the starter for a while, probably to the next World Cup, I would say. And when I mean starter, I mean like the center back one, because there's two center backs. He's the center back one. There will be, fighting and pushing and pulling for that second spot or that third spot if we keep the back three. But if we don't, then there will be fighting for that second spot. But Chris Richards will. He will have that spot locked. And then my fifth stock up. This might be a surprise to some people. Or actually, this isn't a stock up. This is an honorable mention, in my opinion. Sebastian Berhalter, not because of how he played particularly, but because of just the effort he showed. I'm a big I like seeing that people like the players care about what's going on, and especially in that Belgium game when there was no energy, he tried to bring some energy to the field. Now, do I think he should be called up or start next World Cup? No, he shouldn't. He isn't young. He's not gonna, unless he gets out of MLS, he's not gonna improve. But I say his stock goes up because of the passion he showed on the field, to me, because to me that's important, and we lacked that in this World Cup. We lacked passion for it being a home tournament. Crazy that we lacked passion, but we did. And then my fifth stock up would be Austin Trusty. Actually, he had a great game against Turkey. He got injured and came back on. I know Turkey still scored at the end, but it takes a lot to get injured like that. He was off the field and came back on. I don't know what the severity of his injury was, but he was down for a little bit, and he had to get they had to seek him medically. So I think his stock really went up for that second center back spot right now. I don't know who else can compete with him. Personally, Mark McKenzie, I would give a little bit more time. And when I mean that, I mean like a year. If he doesn't show something in a year, he's done. But Tim Ream, thank you for your service, man. Thank you for your service, bro. It's not his fault. If you blame anything on Tim Ream this World Cup, I disagree, because he should be retired right now. Tim Ream should be, taking a nap in bed. Yeah, we dragged him out for the World Cup because he's our second best center back. Even though I think Austin Trusty is our second best center back, but to Pochettino, Tim Ream was. And so I won't be saying stock down or stock up for Tim Ream. He's neutral, but he played decent, and we shouldn't have had to brought him, but our pool is not good, so we had to bring him. My first stock down would be Matt Freese. Not a great tournament from him. Sorry. He didn't make any saves, spectacular saves. He made the saves that he needed. Sometimes he let goals that shouldn't have gone in, in my opinion. So I think that, Matt Freese, he didn't show anything, and I would not be surprised if he's out of this lineup by the next World Cup. And Matt Turner. The only goalkeeper I would like to see return would be Chris Brady. My second stock down actually is Mark McKenzie. Had a horrible game against Turkey, abysmal. He looked like Miles Robinson. It looked like we had two Miles Robinsons on the field. And when you have two Miles Robinsons on the field, we're lucky we didn't give up 5 or 6 goals. He just looked sloppy. And I actually liked Mark McKenzie too. But with that performance, I don't know. I feel like he's got to go back to club and have good form and maybe get called back into the national team. But right now, I would give him a year. But besides that, I don't think he'll really be on this team. Besides that, my third stock down, excuse me, is sadly Christian Pulisic. You came into the biggest tournament, the biggest World Cup of any of these U.S. players' careers. Uh, Biggest USA game was that Belgium game, um, and I think Pulisic blew it. I think he gave up. I don't know how injured he actually was. Uh, I know he was injured, but I think if the game's tight, he stays on. You know what I mean? And I think before he went out, the game wasn't too out of hand, was it? 57, and he went out in what minute? The 59th? Yeah. I mean, they went up 3-1, and he kind of gave up. You know what I mean? Uh, I, as I was talking about with Sebastian Berhalter, I like seeing effort. I like seeing care for the team, and Pulisic didn't have any of that. Maybe not the whole tournament long. We didn't see much of him. We saw him against Paraguay where he looked real nice. Turkey, he looked okay. Bosnia, he looked okay. And then Belgium, he looked horrendous, in my opinion. My fourth stock down is actually a general stock down. No, never mind. My fourth stock down, actually pretty surprisingly, and it might be some recency bias from the last game, but I think A Rob didn't have a great tournament, and then especially not a great last game. Um, I know there's a lot of other people I could put in this position, but I think if we're talking like stock up, stocks down, we need to talk about the starting 11, and then reasonable subs. And there's no reasonable subs for Anthony Robinson. You look at this Anthony. They say Joe Scally, but he plays on the right. I mean Max Arston, but I'm glad he never came on. Um, yeah, so I would definitely that last game is a stock down for A Rob, but hopefully he could bounce back. Maybe he was dealing with something, an injury, or I don't know, but hopefully he bounces back after that last game. That last game left a real bad taste in my mouth. And then my fifth stock down would be Ricardo Pepi. And I don't like to say it, but he opened up that striker 2 spot more than it's ever been opened up, in my opinion, because he did not have a good game against Turkey. And then the games he was subbed on for, he didn't play great. And, I like Pepi. And he plays good for his club. And he's played good for country, actually. He scores goals, but this tournament, he did not have a great tournament. And so I think his stock went down. I would like to see him keep performing for his club and then come back, fresh for the national team and keep scoring, because 2 good 9s for us will be really good for us. Because say one day Ballo's having an off day and Ricardo Pepi could come on and you might get a goal, or you're gonna get a goal out of him, because that's how he was for a while. You sub him on and bro will score. So if he can get back to that form, he's the locked in 2 again. And then the fight for the third striker opens up. But I think for right now, the striker 2 and 3 spot is open up for grabs. An honorable mention for my stock up, any center back that wasn't in this roster besides Chris Richards. All of them will be getting looked at this next cycle, especially for this next camp. And if there's not a fresh pair of center backs, like I wouldn't even call Chris Richards in, because there's no need for it, because you already know he's your one. So there should be none of the same center backs in this roster except for Austin Trusty. My bad, I forgot to say Chris Richards, Austin Trusty. The rest of them need to be kept out the roster. And I mean, I don't know if Austin Trusty's really our two. We might find somebody else. I think Austin Trusty should be called in next camp to compete and see, who's the best center back out of our backups and see who can, consistently make the roster. Another honorable mention, Chris Brady, because I know he didn't play at all, but he's a young keeper, and at least he didn't look like shit. I know he didn't play, but he trained with the team all year, or trained with the team all World Cup, and I think that he should be getting some looks alongside Diego Cochin, and then I don't know who else you want to call in. At that point, you just call in whoever. You could call in Young, like it's Prescott, his from Bayern Munich. I think he's done their academy. He's a 09, so he still might be in their academy, but he's playing at Bayern Munich. Um, there's a bunch of MLS keepers you can try out again, and I mean, if you want, like, there's a guy that belongs to Chelsea. I don't know his name. I think it's Gaga Salina, but I don't think he's really that good. And then, yeah. So there's a lot of goalkeepers that need to be center back, and goalkeepers is what we need to be mainly focused on in this next cycle. So those are my stock ups and stock downs. Sorry, it was a little all over the place. It's pretty late, and I'm pretty tired. So, yeah. Like I said in the beginning, if you're going through something, let somebody know. You are never alone. And yeah, hopefully the USMNT shows something different in these next few camps to give us some hope for the Gold Cup and Copa America. Because if we can't get our goalkeeper situation figured out, or our center back 2 and 3 situation figured out, I don't know. I don't see this team improving because we have the midfielders and we have the forwards and we have the wingers, but we just don't have the defense. We have the fullbacks too. It's really just center backs and goalkeeper that really need to be worked on this cycle. And then when those problems are fixed, more will probably arise. Like, we probably need better depth in the midfield. We need better depth in the fullbacks. But that's something to go about a little later, like probably at the start of 2027. Right now, I think we're in emergency mode for goalkeepers and center backs, to me. So, yeah, keep your head high. You're never alone. And have a great day.